What if I told you that one man could be an artist, scientist, inventor, engineer, musician, and philosopher all at the same time? A boy born in a small village in Italy would grow up to paint one of the most famous pictures in history, design machines hundreds of years ahead of his time, and become one of the greatest geniuses the world has ever known. Some people call him the smartest person who ever lived. How did an ordinary child become a legend whose ideas still inspire people after 500 years? This is the incredible story of Leonardo da Vinci, the man who proved that curiosity can change the world. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Universal English. Today, we bring you the inspiring story of one of history's greatest minds. His name was Leonardo da Vinci. He was not only a famous painter but also an inventor, scientist, engineer, and thinker. Even after more than 500 years, people continue to admire his creativity and intelligence. His life teaches us the importance of curiosity, hard work, and never stopping our search for knowledge. So sit back, relax, and travel back to Renaissance Italy as we discover the extraordinary story of Leonardo da Vinci, a child from a small village. Our story begins on April 15, 1452. In a small village called Vinci, a baby boy was born. His name was Leonardo. He later became known as Leonardo da Vinci, which means Leonardo from Vinci. His father, Ser Piero da Vinci, was a lawyer and a respected man in the community. Leonardo's mother, Caterina, came from a humble background. As a child, Leonardo spent much of his time outdoors. He loved observing nature. He watched birds flying in the sky. He studied plants, rivers, and animals. Everything around him filled him with wonder. A boy who loved questions. Leonardo was different from other children. He constantly asked questions. Why do birds fly? How does water move? Why do stars shine? He wanted to understand everything. Unlike many children, he did not accept simple answers. He observed the world carefully and thought deeply about everything he saw. This endless curiosity would later make him one of history's greatest thinkers. The beauty of nature. From an early age, Leonardo loved drawing. He drew trees, flowers, mountains, and animals. Nature became his greatest teacher. He believed that by studying nature, a person could learn the secrets of the universe. He carried notebooks and filled them with sketches and observations. Even as a young boy, he noticed details that other people ignored. He had a remarkable ability to see beauty everywhere, a special talent. As Leonardo grew older, people began noticing his artistic talent. His drawings were extraordinary. His father realized that his son had a special gift. So he decided to send Leonardo to one of the finest artists in Italy. This decision would change Leonardo's life forever. The Apprentice. At the age of 14, Leonardo became an apprentice to the famous artist Andrea del Verrocchio in the city of Florence. Florence was one of the most important cultural centers in Europe. Artists, writers, and scientists gathered there. For young Leonardo, it was an exciting place. As an apprentice, he learned painting, sculpture, engineering, and many practical skills. He worked very hard. Day after day, he practiced drawing and studied different techniques. Soon, everyone realized that Leonardo possessed extraordinary talent. A student who learned everything. Leonardo was not interested in only one subject. He wanted to learn everything. He studied mathematics. He studied music. He studied architecture. He studied engineering. He learned how machines worked. He carefully observed human behavior. Unlike many people, he did not separate art from science. For Leonardo, everything was connected. Painting helped him understand nature. Science helped him become a better artist. This unique way of thinking made him different from everyone around him. the young artist. As his skills improved, Leonardo began creating his own works of art. People admired his paintings and drawings. His talent became famous throughout Florence. But Leonardo was never completely satisfied. He always wanted to improve. He believed that there was always something new to learn. This desire for perfection became one of the defining characteristics of his life. Dreamed beyond painting. Although Leonardo loved painting, he dreamed of much more. He wanted to build machines. He wanted to understand the human body. He wanted to study the stars and the movement of water. He imagined flying machines hundreds of years before airplanes existed. His notebooks became filled with incredible ideas and inventions. The curious boy from Vinci was preparing to become one of the greatest geniuses in history. But his most famous achievements were still ahead. The young artist from a small Italian village had discovered his extraordinary talents. His curiosity and love of learning were leading him toward greatness. Soon, Leonardo da Vinci would create masterpieces, study science, and dream of inventions far ahead of his time. A new life in Milan. As Leonardo grew older, he wanted new challenges. Around 1482, he moved to the city of Milan. There, he worked for the ruler of the city, Ludovico Sforza. Interestingly, Leonardo did not introduce himself mainly as a painter. Instead, he described himself as an engineer and inventor. He said that he could design bridges, military machines, and buildings. This shows how differently Leonardo thought. He believed that he could solve almost any problem through creativity and observation. In Milan, he would spend many years working on art, science, and engineering. The painter of masterpieces. While living in Milan, Leonardo created some of his most famous works. One of them was the beautiful painting The Last Supper. The painting shows the moment when Jesus tells his disciples that one of them will betray him. Leonardo carefully painted the emotions on every face. Each person looks different. Some appear shocked. Some look confused. Others seem sad. People were amazed by the painting. Even today, it is considered one of the greatest works of art ever created. The Man Who Filled Notebooks. Leonardo always carried notebooks with him. Whenever he had an idea, he wrote it down. Whenever he saw something interesting, he made a sketch. His notebooks contained thousands of pages. They included drawings of plants, animals, machines, and human bodies. Some pages contained mathematical problems. Others showed ideas for inventions. These notebooks reveal the incredible power of Leonardo's imagination. Even after 500 years, people still study his writings and drawings. The inventor ahead of his time. Leonardo dreamed of creating machines that seemed impossible. He designed flying machines that looked similar to modern helicopters. He imagined armored vehicles that resembled tanks. He designed machines for lifting heavy objects. He even drew ideas that looked like bicycles and parachutes. Most of these inventions were never built during his lifetime. The technology of his age was simply too limited. But centuries later, many people realized how far ahead of his time Leonardo had been. Some even call him the father of modern engineering. The mystery of flight. One of Leonardo's greatest dreams was human flight. He spent years studying birds. He watched their wings carefully. He filled his notebooks with drawings and observations. Why could birds fly? Could humans also fly? He believed that one day people would soar through the sky. At the time, this idea seemed impossible. Yet hundreds of years later, airplanes became a reality. Leonardo's dream eventually came true, long after his death. Studying the human body. Leonardo's curiosity had no limits. He also became fascinated by the human body. He carefully studied muscles, bones, and organs. He made incredibly detailed drawings of human anatomy. Many of his sketches were so accurate that modern doctors still admire them. For Leonardo, understanding the human body was essential. He believed that nature followed certain rules, and that those rules could be discovered through careful observation. His studies helped both art and science. The scientist. Leonardo was much more than an artist. He studied water and rivers. He observed the movement of clouds. He examined rocks and fossils. He asked questions about everything around him. Many historians consider him one of the first modern scientists because he believed in observation and experimentation. He did not simply accept old ideas. He wanted evidence. He wanted to see things with his own eyes. This approach would later become one of the foundations of modern science. The search for perfection. Leonardo was famous for his talent, but he was also famous for something else. He often took a very long time to finish his work. He constantly changed and improved his paintings. He wanted everything to be perfect. Sometimes this perfectionism caused problems. Some projects remained unfinished. Yet this desire for excellence helped him create extraordinary masterpieces. Leonardo believed that learning never ended. There was always something more to discover. The most famous smile in history. Around the year 1503, Leonardo began working on another painting. It would later become the most famous painting in the world. Its name is the Mona Lisa. The woman in the painting has a mysterious smile. For centuries, people have wondered what she is thinking. Why is she smiling? What makes the painting so special? No one knows exactly. But millions of people visit museums every year just to see this masterpiece. The Mona Lisa became a symbol of art itself, famed throughout Italy. As Leonardo's reputation grew, rulers and wealthy families wanted him to work for them. People admired his intelligence and creativity. He was known not only as a painter, but also as an engineer, architect, and inventor. Very few people in history have been talented in so many different areas. Leonardo had become one of the most respected men in Italy. Yet despite his success, he never stopped asking questions. The curious boy from Vinci still wanted to understand the secrets of the universe. A genius without limits. By now, Leonardo had achieved extraordinary things. He had painted masterpieces. He had designed incredible machines. He had studied science and anatomy. But his greatest legacy was not a single invention or painting. It was his way of thinking. He showed the world the importance of curiosity. He proved that learning should never stop. And he inspired future generations to explore, discover, and dream. But the final chapter of his remarkable life was still ahead. The boy who loved drawing and asking questions had become one of the greatest artists and inventors in history. His ideas were centuries ahead of his time. Yet his most important lessons, and his lasting legacy, would continue to inspire the world long after his death. The final years in France. As Leonardo da Vinci grew older, his fame spread across Europe. Kings and rulers admired his work. Among them was Francis I of France. The young king respected Leonardo greatly and invited him to live in France. Leonardo accepted the invitation and moved there in 1516. He was given a beautiful home near the royal palace. The king treated him with honor and often visited him to discuss art, science, and philosophy. Although Leonardo was now an old man, his curiosity remained as strong as ever. The world's most famous painting. Over the years, Leonardo's paintings became legendary. The most famous of all is the Mona Lisa. Millions of people visit museums just to see her mysterious smile. The painting has inspired books, films, and endless discussions. Why is the smile so fascinating? Why does the painting seem alive? No one knows for certain. That mystery is part of its magic. Even after more than 500 years, The Mona Lisa remains one of the greatest masterpieces in human history. The genius of the Renaissance. Leonardo lived during a period known as the Renaissance. The Renaissance was a time of new ideas and discoveries. Artists and thinkers were changing the world. Yet even among these extraordinary people, Leonardo stood out. He was not simply a painter. He was not simply a scientist. He was many things at once. Few people in history have possessed such a wide range of talents. Because of this, many historians call him the perfect Renaissance man. A man ahead of his time. Many of Leonardo's ideas were hundreds of years ahead of his time. He imagined flying machines before airplanes existed. He designed machines similar to helicopters and tanks. He studied the human body with incredible accuracy. He observed nature in ways that modern scientists still admire. The world of the 15th century was not ready for many of his ideas. But centuries later, people realized just how remarkable his imagination had been. Leonardo proved that great ideas can come long before the world is ready to understand them. Lessons from Leonardo's life. What can we learn from Leonardo da Vinci? First, never stop being curious. Leonardo asked questions his entire life. Second, learning should never end. He studied art, science, engineering, music, and nature. Third, do not limit yourself. You do not have to choose only one interest. Leonardo showed that a person can explore many different subjects. Fourth, observe the world carefully. Many of Leonardo's greatest discoveries came simply because he paid attention to things that others ignored. Finally, never stop imagining. Imagination can lead to extraordinary discoveries. The power of curiosity. Leonardo once said that learning never exhausts the mind. This idea perfectly describes his life. He never became tired of asking questions. He never became tired of learning. For him, every day was an opportunity to discover something new. This curiosity made him one of history's greatest thinkers. It also reminds us that knowledge and creativity can transform our lives. The legacy that lives forever. More than 500 years have passed since Leonardo's death. Yet his influence can still be seen everywhere. Artists study his paintings. Scientists admire his observations. Engineers are inspired by his inventions. Students read about his life. Millions of people visit museums to see his masterpieces. His story continues to inspire people in every corner of the world. Very few individuals have left such an enormous legacy. Leonardo da Vinci truly changed the way humanity thinks about art, science, and creativity. From a small village to immortality. Imagine the young boy from Vinci, sitting beside a river and watching birds fly across the sky. Could he have imagined that his name would one day become famous around the world? Probably not. He was simply curious. He wanted to learn. He wanted to understand the world. That curiosity transformed an ordinary child into an extraordinary genius. His story proves that great achievements often begin with simple questions. The story of Leonardo da Vinci is the story of endless curiosity and lifelong learning. A boy from a small Italian village became one of the greatest artists, inventors, and thinkers in history. He painted masterpieces that continue to amaze millions. He designed machines that were centuries ahead of his time. He studied nature, science, and the human body with incredible passion. But perhaps his greatest lesson is this: never stop asking questions. Never stop learning. And never stop being curious about the world around you. Because one curious mind can create masterpieces, inspire generations, and even change history. Just as Leonardo da Vinci did. Thank you for watching this inspiring biography on Universal English. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Keep learning, keep exploring, and never stop asking questions. See you in the next inspiring biography on Universal English.